Okay, so in this video, I have a system design interview tomorrow. Passed my first round, the synchronous pair programming. Got lucky, had a good interviewer, who was more interested in the thinking and thought process. Oh, interesting. I have captions. How do I? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna keep this in live. Okay, cool. That was gonna be today's video about my live transcription speech to text model that thankfully somebody has already integrated. OpenAI whisper models. One of them I'm using the tiny English since I need like a not really looking for like a robust model. I'm not looking to do multilingual translation. So like a tiny model just for English is fine. Like I just need speech to text, and then I'm gonna do some time stamping for the time descriptions so it's like easier for people to like access and summarize in the video. Because what was happening as part of this video, I didn't realize the captions were there, but I want to go over in a 45-minute window when I do start this in a few minutes. So it'll be a 15-minute long video to kind of mimic a design interview, going over this YouTube pipeline that I'm doing and have done and the problem that it solves. We'll start with that. That'll be a really quick design. I think then overall in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things, we'll then start covering the high level design of how everything is interconnected. Because right now, if you go on the GitHub and you try to look at some of the mermaid .js, it is honestly very overwhelming if you start seeing the high level. I guess this is it, but it's like all at once. It's kind of hard to like. How do you even navigate something like this? And then honestly, like, are you really gonna navigate all that? Like, let's be real here. No. So that's what we're doing today. So the caption should not be there because I've removed it live from the source. I set this up to have live transcriptions for streaming. Part of that was the optimization stuff. So good to know, like that's working. Anyway, okay, so let us begin. 2 minutes. So I've been doing a lot of reading. As you can see, this is my learning curriculum for all this. Not all of this was applicable, and then not all of these O'Reilly resources from the local library that I'm reading honestly were helpful. I've had most success with Hello Interview. Need Codes was helpful for some of the concepts. I guess I'll put in the description the data mine resources that actually helped me. This is just kind of like to fill in the gap to kind of give me a good quasi-formal education in a structured learning way. Because of the, thankfully the library that I'm a member of has partnerships with O'Reilly, so I'm able to read these for free. The designing data intensive applications, great book. I'd say it's more intermediate, and it is helpful to have some level of baseline knowledge of databases from first principles, and then applying that to various systems, whether that's distributed, machine learning, and then tailoring that down to more niche things. But ultimately, for me, we are hired professionals to do this. But like with much of the work that I do, either it's NDA or IP, or you can't really show the work. It's way better to be able to have this skill set of system design and, let's say, communicating this to problems in your own life. To in this case, I'm doing it for content creation for videos. So we'll be doing that now. And I'll also make a frame for this, but yeah, let me log in here to my own thing. Okay, cool. So, let us navigate now for the remainder of this 45 minutes, which I will end at 50 minutes. To the designing my system. So let's see. Let's set expectations here. So we're doing this all from scratch. Okay, stateless videos. I like my sweet compass, right? So we have end to end. And then in the interview, they're gonna be like, oh, what does that mean? It's like, okay, well, like that means I think about my design, then I think about my data, then I think about my model, if I have one. I think about my backend, and this will be more, we'll call this compute. I've been having internal discussions regarding someone wanting to set up a Postgres DB and then not quite understanding hardware and cloud compute to store that and to run it. Front end, and then ops. Okay, cool. And then, let's see. So the other one is end, then I have abstraction. This is nice because then you can have conversations about like, oh, you know, this whisper flow thing, like it's a model that's already that's open source from OpenAI. Fortunately, in terms of ecosystem and abstraction layer, like somebody's already developed a plugin that integrates with OBS. And so do I really want to like take the model and then write my own OBS plugin and then, no, somebody's already done this. You know, let's like enjoy that privilege and then move on with our lives. So that's what I did for this project. Okay, and then the aspect of time and scale. So we're 0 to 1ing this, so there really shouldn't be like a, you know, non-zero thing here. But anyway, okay, cool. All right, 45 minutes. And then live in interviews, this is what I've been doing. I've been time blocking things, and so let's see. I'm at 6 minutes. I'll say 5 to 10. What was it, like the scope? And 10, and then half of it. Well, and then like you do like 5 minutes at the end for Q&A. I don't know. You can have more of it, but like then it's like the meat of it. Let's say 20 minutes each. It was like 20 minutes, like end to end, high level design, and then past 2 is like deep dives. Normally you get like an interviewer that like guides you in the specific areas, but let's see how far. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I go in depth as I go through this one project. And then just sketch out the high level design for everything else. So that's probably better. Okay. So here's our compass. Here's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we can do the hello interview thing. Honestly, in my opinion, it's still debatable to me how much like design, non-functional, functional we really should be doing. And I'm sharing this because in past interviews I've had where I've been asked to like design a system, I actually took a step back and like, well, really put a lot of emphasis in the design and questioning like, is there bias in our data? Are there security concerns? Because that's going to affect our downstream design. How long and future-proof should we design this for? Sure, I understand we designed for today, but then how long should we design this for at the scale that we're expecting to grow? How much room should we have? So like a lot of emphasis has been in the design actually. Part of that has been like, I guess as I matured in my own engineering career and then having heard about the paradigm with bigger companies already having existing code and being more pragmatic and careful about designing new code. A lot of upfront work being done. Yeah, so even I'm doing that now professionally, which is really cool to see. And we'll be doing that right now. So the problem, I'll say the baseline problem was recording long form videos takes a long time to upload. It's actually been taking me about like an hour. Encoding, generate another 3 hours. Yeah, so then what's happening was I was making these videos. I'm having a great time. I don't know about anybody else watching this. I'm having a great time. So the videos themselves take an hour to record. Then I have to upload it, and that takes about an hour. Then once the video gets uploaded, then it gets encoded into text, and then however long that took. Last time it took like a few hours. I'm not, like, that's the baseline. So this goes back to a previous video talking about stateless, naive solutions and how things are sequential. So optimization that we're going to be doing in designing this workflow is just ahead transcription, i.e. live real-time transcription, speech to text. Because ultimately, I just need like my timestamps synced with the audio, ideally with the video, in text, so that I can pass it to an LLM, so that as the video uploads in this 1 hour, I can fill in the title, I can fill in the description, hashtags, and then just have it ready to go. Okay. I think that's a very reasonable, like, first step in the right direction. Because the roadmap design is, let's just do like an API payload. Let's like start hooking up, like, maybe we look into cloud blob for long-term video storage. On commit push to YouTube. I don't know. I got to look into the capacity on that. Right? Because then, like, the super long-term aim is to do what everybody else is doing on YouTube and then post recursively. That's the ultimate aim. This is social media. People are always like, dead internet theory. Nothing's novel, nothing's new. And that's what this is. This also is what I've been doing on LinkedIn, too. So, like, this is nothing new. I do it. I'm already doing it. That's for text to text. But now this is going to be video. I don't know, video to video. Okay, anyway. So already we're kind of getting hints at, we're covering things like voice to text, text to text, storage for videos, blah, API payloads and pathing, Postgres. Relational. Okay, fine. Like, do the system design thing where you go like, oh, I need a structured relational database, like Postgres, like MySQL, and it's probably gonna be Postgres. But actually, I had that discussion, but where I'm a solo dev, so maybe I look into a service that abstracts that away from me. Something like. Like, I'm using Neon, like a serverless Postgres, because the whole point is like if I do a server, and like one of the reasons why I haven't migrated away from Vercel yet off of this to something like GCP really is like setting up the authentication, authorization. And there's a difference, which for this video I will have to show. Let's see, is that a concern though for this project that I've done? Not really, mainly because the baseline into the improved design, which we will not be doing the roadmap design, is videos are recorded locally. Well, I guess video and audio. So I'm okay with speech to text. It's all local anyway. And plus, it helps with the latency if it is local. You don't have to worry about weird drift or like async stuff with the cloud. And then maybe if you did cloud stuff for like the capturing of this data source stuff that I'm doing, you need an API key. You're relying on other people's like infrastructure when like your computer's right here. It's already good to go. So I think that's fine. But also I think you're gonna have weird issues with like the API key and then the availability of their server if you try to do real time like what I'm doing, because I am doing a streaming transcription and not something like that's batch and like it processes it all at once. And I'm doing that was by design actually to kind of like offset some of the risk. Like, let's say I just stopped this recording, which I did in the previous take. Or my computer crashes and I just lose all that. And like, look, I'm trying to do like an hour video here or 50 minutes. Okay, so cool. So audio, video, it's all local. I'm doing this locally. The auth. Okay, so authorization is I am who I say I am, basically. Like, or you are who you are. You confirm. This is where your two-factor auth comes in. And it's like, are you really this person? Yes. If not, then you shouldn't be doing this. And so that's where the... Wait, I already messed up. Authentication. Sorry. Okay. And then so authorization is, okay, you are who you are. Here's what you can do. Okay, so this is where you start remembering your best practices and then you verbally state them out loud. Like, if I'm going to go AWS and set up my networking and stuff, you know, one of the best practices in IAM, identity admin management, I think, is like, even though I'm the admin, you really shouldn't be like at root level access for your day-to-day work. So then you put like, you abstract that security risk away and just say like power user or something. And then your day-to-day work is in that user. And so you don't have to delete your database or like whatever you're doing unintentionally. So there's some risk mitigation there. But in this case, we're going from a manual process, step by step, finish recording, upload, wait for that to upload, and then do the transcriptions. We're honestly doing a slight improvement to this. It's still going to be a manual thing. I will not be doing the API payload. That's quite a bit of a jump. And also my Claude Weekly token limits reset. So I'd rather be doing that and building things and continuing to work on this portfolio than make these videos, because as much as I like making these videos, there are still things I do need to be building. More notably is like continuing on my job board and getting that into the maintenance phase of the software development lifecycle, or whatever the machine learning lifecycle is now, which is a little bit weird. But getting that into a maintainable state so that I'm able to competently and confidently present that as a presentable demonstration live and interviews, so that we can have a intellectual conversation about the design of these things. Okay, right, so all right, so 20 minutes, so let's go. It's my video. We're gonna try to keep it to 50 minutes, or just the 45-minute allotted window. Okay. All right, so this is like your clarifying requirements, some of the non-functional things, your functional things, which I guess we'll talk about now. Let's see. So this is a little bit different. It's not a web thing, right? So how do I want to do this? Let's see. So I guess technically in my case, I'm the user. So, and the device is, I don't know, Edge. I don't know if Edge we want to call it. We'll call it local. This is the networking stuff. I guess if we're doing networking, we should do this. Because this is not like a customer facing thing, right? This is like my own thing. So there isn't really like too much networking I have to worry about. But sure, let's just say it's like either your location. I don't really have to worry about security because this is kind of a manual thing, so it's not like it's a customer facing thing. Okay, so in the local one we have video. Oh, I guess it's video and audio. And then we have text. I'm using OBS, but we're actually using... There's our model. It's not that interesting because this goes, like, because it's a manual process, there's not like an API gateway we're really interacting with. I'll just put this here for now. Because there is an API. Let's see. So the YouTube thing. Manual process. We have text for the title. What else do I want? I think that's it. Because what I really want is to get my transcript and subtitles here. Summarize, which I'm going to use Gemini for this. And I'll show this. I think it's important if I still have it. Just to clean up the live transcripted transcript in a description format so that people can just like quickly click and access different section of this and then have like a main takeaway. So, and then ideally relevant hashtags, but I'm not too worried about that. Timestamps. Okay, so that's really all I want. I'm not asking for too much here. And then unfortunately, like, once the videos get uploaded, I just kind of delete the videos locally. I don't put much weight in this because in my brain it's like already uploaded to the cloud, to Google, and unless I am doing the roadmap design where I am recursively posting things month over month over years, which I will be eventually. Everybody does this. Then we actually don't need long-term storage, right? So this is literally the design. It's literally just, hey, a local, it's on my computer, record the video and audio. I'm using a Whisper, and then I'll clean it up with Gemini, and then upload it to YouTube. All right, sweet. So that's the high-level design there. No data. Well, data's local. Model, WhisperFlow. I'm using a tiny model because I'm just using English. It's fine. And then it doesn't have to be Gemini. Maybe it could be another like small language model that I have locally. I'm not doing anything crazy here. I'm just like cleaning up text and transforming it. I'm not looking for like a perfect format. I just need it to be clean. So I don't know. Maybe I'll think about like another small language model. Maybe that's local. Maybe it's part of my Hugging Face 0 GPU thing for like quick NVIDIA Blackwell GPU for my daily 5-minute limits of the slice that I can use. Maybe I can quickly process that, but then I do want to reserve the GPU for other things. So maybe I could use the CPU on that. That is part of this infrastructure that I'm building out so that I'm able to like use whatever I need to at zero cost. Also demonstrate some of these cool things that I'm doing and not just things like, it's honestly not that impressive by saying you're doing something locally. Like, let's be real about this. Like, we're in the era of cloud and AI now. So for this project and this system, which is really funny to talk about, yeah, this is pretty much it. Like, this is it. There is no backend. I'm not doing an API. This is a manual step. The main process improvement is that I'm doing just ahead or head in time transcription rather than then waiting for timestamps to be generated from Gemini afterwards. And honestly, that saves me like 2 to 3 hours already. So like, hey, big win. Little automations like this, just by installing someone else's code on my OBS, saves me 2 hours. This is awesome, right? So okay, so like, we don't need this huge overhead of code and this overly engineered thing. If I don't know, I honestly don't think I'm gonna like get any much more value in optimizing the roadmap and spending the amount of time to do that until I start building up a legitimate series of videos that are stateless in a way that provides value to people that I can post iteratively. Because I'm sure everybody's seen those videos. They're kind of annoying. So maybe I continue to have sequential videos that are like actually novel and like rather than regurgitating videos, which I unfortunately will be doing. Very similar to my LinkedIn post. While I'm regurgitating a baseline of videos and content, I can always feed in some of the ad hoc things. So that's the plan. I will be doing that. All right, so I got 30 minutes. Or maybe I'll cut a little short. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, so no cloud, no front end. It's all a manual thing. The only process improvement here was that model. Okay, so that's fine. Let's see. What else can I do for the next 20 minutes, right? Because I have other system design considerations that I think would be good to navigate with this compass. Because the videos are one thing. I'd say that in the aspect of time, I'm only making these videos after the fact. Really downstream of after I built these systems. And I can't really think of anything that would provide value rather than continuing to go on a rant. And then I think by then, if I start going into the details and technical depth of these things, it might get annoying really fast. So I guess this is it. This is a high level design. We'll keep it a little shorter then. Let me think upon any more deep dives that would help people. Other than prompting them, like how would you design a prompt, and does it have to be an agent, or could it be a skill? Because then what we could start doing is improving the workflow and steps from taking the locally saved transcript to generate the title, description, timestamps, and main takeaways on the API push. So, I do also have a cloud subscription. Maybe I look at OpenCode and some of the other CLI open models that I could use. But now we're kind of hinting at the roadmap design and further improving this process and system. I know somewhere along the way, it will be beneficial to take this raw text transcript. Currently, it is going to be manually done. And I will be repeating the process of, I mainly want the timestamps. The main takeaways, title, and hashtags are all nice. So that's the minimum effective design and setting expectations. And realistically, it seems like that could be Claude skill that, once the video gets uploaded, I just give it all the data inputs and I push it through. Because I should have already authenticated myself into YouTube so that the agent locally should be able to just push the video and text and transform it as part of the payload here. It doesn't have to be Gemini. That's what I'm thinking. Let me think. Is there anything else? Because this is not customer facing. Like, this is like another personal project, which is why I felt like it's fine to like make a video about, to kind of warm myself up in preparation for the system design interview tomorrow in 12 hours when I wake up. So this is my prep. Thank you everybody for spending 30 minutes with me while I rant and prepare. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I gotta really think about the deep dives. Data, yeah, I talked about data model. Backend computes local. No front end. No cloud. Yeah. API payload. Yeah, I gotta think about blob storage. I'm more into GCP nowadays than I am on AWS. I know AWS will probably start thinking about S3 for some of the video stuff. I gotta know more about the GCP equivalent, but maybe after these interviews. I usually default into deep technical knowledge on the AWS stack, but even then, like, personally, you try to abstract to the kind of technology that you need rather than like the what kind of technology you need. Are services that provide that, because then things get really weird when you have open source alternatives provided from the services like Apache Iceberg on AWS or Kubernetes on AWS, and they have their own, AWS has their own like twist on that, which, yeah. Yeah, those are some of my thoughts and like trying to prepare for the long-term storage on that. It's a pretty big lift, which is why I haven't done it, and I don't plan on doing it for a while. And honestly, the API thing is cool, but like, it's not that hard to finish this recording and then just upload the video with the transcription. This will be the first video I do this, so maybe I take it back in the next video when I talk more about the differences between a software engineering system design and machine learning system design. The conversations between someone that does or does not have a machine learning background has been really interesting. You can really tell when someone does not, coming from a software engineering perspective, and then likewise when you are in the lower level systems, talking to someone that's been doing like higher level abstraction work. So it's been really interesting, very interesting conversations I've had to be able to navigate that using this compass of mine. Okay, cool. So unfortunately, I'm talking to myself here, and I can't think of anything else. And justifying the decisions made to do this locally and like the small iterative change of just the head transcription as opposed to just-in-time transcription, I think that's a pretty significant improvement. This is a recreational thing anyway. It's not supposed to be a robust lift and overhead. And so I'm okay with that. And so that's the design. The customer's happy and the user's happy, and that's me.